All right, so I'm actually under a tornado warning right now. I can hear the thunder, and the sirens have stopped for the moment, but they were going earlier. And the sky outside, it's kind of a sort of a nauseating color, greenish, blackish color. So it is possible. I'm going to persist, everyone. I'm going to be heroic and I'm going to finish this video as planned. But there is a possibility that during the making of this video, this structure that I'm in might be obliterated and I might be caught up in the funnel. In which case, I'm excited to be able to provide to you the first ever justice for Johnny Depp, justice for Marilyn Manson, justice for falsely accused live stream from inside the funnel of a tornado. That may be coming, but we'll see. In the meantime, I want to introduce to you, I really wasn't joking about the tornado warning. You can hear the thunder, I don't know. But meantime, until I'm taken up in the funnel, I want to talk to you about my new series that I'm starting on Evan Rachel Wood. Now, you may know that a couple of weeks ago, I did a video about Evan Rachel Wood's prior custody dispute with the father of her child, Jamie Bell. So basically, the long and the short of it, you can look at that video. I'll link to it below. But the long and the short of that is that Jamie Bell convincingly argued in the legal documents that Evan Rachel Wood repeatedly withheld his son from him, that she forced him to go months without seeing his son, that she would arbitrarily decide at the last minute that the son was not going to be able to hang out with him for Christmas. All of these kinds of honestly rather emotionally sadistic behaviors. Sadistic not only to the father of her child, Jamie Bell, but sadistic to her own son, who apparently was really missing his father. And Evan, Jamie Bell claims, estranged him from his own son to the extent that when he would get on the phone with the son would say, "Daddy, you're no good. You're not here." And the son also apparently, Jamie Bell claims, was utterly terrorized by Evan Rachel Wood's fake stories about Marilyn Manson, Brian Warner, who Evan Rachel Wood was evidently telling her son was a significant threat and danger to not only to her, but to him. And Jamie Bell contends this because he says that when he was on the phone, or when he was talking to his son told him that he had drawn a picture of the bad man who's hurting him, Brian, Marilyn Manson. So, using the Marilyn Manson hoax as a pretext, she was telling Jamie Bell that she couldn't leave Tennessee, where she had fled to, absconded to with their son. She couldn't leave Tennessee. She couldn't allow the son to come and visit him in LA or spend time with him because Marilyn Manson was such a threat and she was so terrified. Oh, wow, the wind is really whipping up out there. Okay. Anyway, do you want to see it? I don't know if you can really see. Look at those clouds. I should probably move to a safer place, but I'll just continue this video. So anyway, if it gets really interesting, I'll go outside and give you some tornado footage, but I don't think we're quite there yet. So I had said in this last video on Evan Rachel Wood that I told you that I was starting a series in which I was going to examine in detail this custody dispute between Evan Rachel Wood and the father of her child. And the reason that I wanted to do that was because I think it's very important for you to understand that Evan Rachel Wood, that this Marilyn Manson hoax, this isn't some one-off, people. That this hoax and Evan Rachel Wood's deception and this coordinated, multifaceted scam that she's running on the American public and apparently on the DA of Los Angeles as well, but more about him in a moment. That apparently this is not a one-off, but it is in fact indicative of a much deeper and more persistent problem in Evan Rachel Wood's psyche and in her behavior, because apparently she is fairly used to lying and conniving and manipulating, and this extends into her relationships with her ex-husband, father of her child, and it appears to her relationship with her own son, who she's terrorizing with this fake hoax. If we're to believe the legal documents filed by her ex, which I find to be very convincing. Look at my other video on this. But I was going to do a series on this custody dispute because I felt like it gives people an excellent window into Evan Rachel Wood's real character, which is that this is a woman who is either psychologically disturbed to the point that she will even terrorize her own son with this bullshit, or that she's that conniving and manipulative and sociopathic that in order to maintain this hoax, that she's actually enlisting her own son to join along with this madness, that she's lying to her own son and making him think that they're in danger when they're not. Because what? Because she wants another person in her life who agrees with her story, or who can get caught up in this delusion with her. Or more likely, I think we see in the court custody documents that she was looking for a pretext to keep her son away from his father. So I was going to talk about that. I was going to go into depth. And also I wanted to discuss it because it is through this court custody situation, this custody dispute that was waged in the courts, that the FBI letter, the fake FBI letter that Evan Rachel Wood wrote, that, oh, you can really hear the rain now. It was through this custody dispute that FBI letter first came to be, because Evan Rachel Wood faked this FBI letter and gave, along with her co-conspirator, Ilma Gore, she faked this FBI letter and she gave Jamie Bell a fake FBI letter to try to convince him that she legitimately needed to stay in Tennessee and keep his child away from him. And Jamie Bell, there was even a fake number. So Jamie Bell even calls the FBI, that he thinks it's the FBI, and instead it's this random person's number, saying, what's going on here? Begging them, please give me some insight. Please help me. Please tell me what's going on. Please tell me basically why my son has to be kept away from me. And of course, the FBI never got back to him because he never called the actual FBI, because he was calling a fake number that he was given by Evan Rachel Wood when she and her ex-girlfriend typed up this fake FBI letter and gave it to him. Now, there's much more to the story, and those of you who know it, you know. What I really want to do is I really want to call attention to this damned FBI scam. And I want to start asking our government why it is that no one in the government, including the FBI, seems to care that Evan Rachel Wood wrote a fake FBI letter and then was trying to one-up a guy in a custody dispute, and was even passing it off to judges in courts of law. I don't understand why no one cares about this. And so I'm starting a new series. I'm still probably going to do the custody dispute series as well. I mean, look, this Marilyn Manson thing is going at a glacial pace. George Gascon, I know that you don't have anything, and I know that you don't have anything, and you know that I know that you don't have anything, and we all know that this is a fucking charade. That you are so far to the left in your hyper-progressive policies that even people on the left don't even like you anymore, apparently. But you're so hyper to the left in all of these policies that you can't actually admit that not only do women, yes, lie about sexual assault at times and lie about serious crimes and such, as we've seen in Evan Rachel Wood's case and some of these other women. Not only do they do that, but that they're capable actually of establishing a really complex hoax system that apparently has kept your LA officers, your LA detectives running around in circles until they finally, figured out, I think, well, this is a hoax. This lady's scamming us. And so they closed the case. They sent the file to you. We know they sent the file to you. And then you played dumb and you said, well, I haven't gotten the full file. I'm just waiting on those dumb, slow, fucking retarded cops. Yeah, I said the R word. Cops to get this file to me, so then I can let the public know, I'm just your humble servant. I'm just waiting on the dumb cops, the dumb, slow cops. No, you're not. We know, George Gascon, that one of the women on your sexual assault task force, in fact, one of the most important people affiliated with you in your office in regard to the topic of sexual assault, that she is best friends with one of the women suing Marilyn Manson. So I don't see how that's not a huge conflict of interest. And by the way, this is the same woman who gave the finger to one of my friends when one of my friends, a Manson supporter, showed up at Jeff Anderson's public press conference trying to push this BS lawsuit on the public. And I had a couple of friends who showed up and who just sat there and listened. They didn't start a protest. They didn't start yelling. They didn't do anything. They were just there to listen. I think one of them might have giggled a little when someone said something particularly stupid, but that was it. And then your friend, George Gascon, this woman who's on your sexual assault task force, who you're so chummy with, and you think she's such a great authority in the area of sexual assault policy, she gave the finger to my friends when everybody was on their way out. That is oh wow, it's hailing outside now. Oh look, there's some like, you want to see some hail? Okay. Can you see it? Can you see the hail? It's like small golf ball size. It's not that bad. So I'm sure the funnel will be coming soon, everyone. Would you just stop being so impatient? Yeah. All right. Oh, wow, the wind's really picking up. So, where was I? Yeah, so this woman in your office, basically George Gascon, this woman who is one of your big friends and a major authority on sexual assault that you look to for guidance, and she's on your this task force and everything. She's best friends with one of Manson's accusers. In fact, she's best friends with Manson's most bullshit accuser, Bianca Elaine Bianca Kine, whatever her name is, because she's used different aliases. Her lawsuit against Manson is the most ridiculous. And it's so ridiculous that I did a multi-part series on it that's on my channel. So I'll link to that as well. You should check it out. But I go through like block by block and I debunk the lawsuit. And yeah, so George Gascon, it's really time to tell the truth about Marilyn Manson, and it's time to let this thing go. And you know, I saw today that your office, George Gascon, the LADA's office, took the time to post a tribute to Harry Belafonte. Look, I have no problem with Harry Belafonte, but why on earth is the LADA's office posting random tributes to dead celebrities? Don't you have other things that you could be doing, George Gascon's office? I mean, look, are you so like far ahead of your workload and you've got everything just so under control and there's no crime or anything in LA to worry about that you can just post these like random dumb tributes to dead celebrities? Harry Belafonte? Well, if you have that kind of time on your hands, George Gascon, and you're just looking for something to do, then I have a suggestion. Perhaps you could actually get around to closing the Marilyn Manson case and to letting the rest of us know that it is closed, rather that it has been closed for a long time. And you've known that. Anyway, back to my original point. I think that it's time that we all start really raising awareness about what is frankly the most shocking aspect of Evan Rachel Wood's behavior over the last several years, especially related to this Marilyn Manson stuff. And it's the fake FBI letter. And I am just astounded that there is literally no one in our government who cares that you have a major star who, in order to withhold her son from his rightful father, rightful and devoted father, and in order to propagate these absurd lies and this absurd hoax about Marilyn Manson, that she was actually deliberately faking an FBI letter and passing it off in a court of law to try to deceive her husband and to try to deceive others. I am just astounded. And I'm astounded too that they didn't, that when she and her girlfriend, when they put this cute plan together and made this letter, that they didn't just leave it, they didn't just invent a name. They actually put a real FBI agent's name on it. To me, that's like a double strike against you. It's bad enough you're faking major government documents, FBI letters, and passing them off as legitimate documents in a court of law in a custody dispute where you're keeping a child from his father and basically terrorizing the child with lies. But anyway, it's bad enough. That's bad enough. But she actually used a real FBI agent's name. And then she used an acquaintance's number and stuck that in there. So that this was actually a real FBI agent's identity that was being exploited. FBI, I just have to ask if there is anyone right now in the government watching this who has any kind of power or is affiliated with or associated with anyone who has any kind of power to look into this and actually do something about it. Let me just ask, isn't it a problem that not only is someone making these fake FBI documents, but also that they're actually exploiting and using and assuming the identity of a real agent? I mean, isn't Evan Rachel Wood basically in this letter that she's faking? Couldn't you make the argument that she's actually basically assuming the identity of the FBI agent? Like she's impersonating an FBI agent. And that's okay. We can have this major movie star who is trying to scam the father of her child and is basically engaged in child abuse against her own child in various ways and is running a complex hoax against Marilyn Manson that has tied up the LA Sheriff's Department's resources for months. They were tied up. I mean, I did a video on this too. I interviewed, as a number of you know, if you've seen it, I interviewed a former girlfriend of Marilyn Manson and a model named Paula Weiss, who was interviewed by the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, by their Special Victims Division, by their detective. And she said in the interview, and I'll post it below, she said in her interview with me that when she talked to this detective, when she went in there for this long interview, that he talked about how there were significant resources that had been expended in this. There were a lot of people they had talked to. They talked to a lot of people. And when that detective talked to me, because I talked to him as well. Remember, he contacted me to get some information. When I talked to that detective and I asked him if they were going to be okay with these women running around propagating this hoax and wasting police resources, you know what he told me? He told me that there had been a considerable amount of police resources that had been expended so far on the investigation. And it wasn't even over yet. They were the LA Sheriff's Department. They offered to fly out to Pola, wherever she was. They said that they would go wherever she was. Now, it just so happened that she was going to be in LA. So she saved the taxpayers. She saved us some money. Thanks, Pola. They would have gone anywhere she was, chasing after this dumb hoax. Evan Rachel Wood got all these supposedly smart cops, detectives running around. And then she's got the LADA just doing basically whatever she wants, doing her bidding, because that's the only reason why he's not telling the truth on this, why he's not come out and cleared Manson, because he knows that Evan Rachel Wood's out there with her big feminist credentials and all of her activist associates, and she's pounding the drums, and she'll pout about it on Instagram. Call your representative. Tell them that Brian, he's not in jail yet. Brian's in jail. Put him in jail. I want Brian in jail so I can go out and do things now with my son. Brian hurts us. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Well, it's starting to get brighter outside. I guess we're gonna miss the funnel, unfortunately. So here's my question, basically. I want to know, is there anyone in our government who cares that a major movie star is perpetuating a gigantic hoax and was impersonating an FBI agent as a part of it in a court of law? I want to know if anyone cares about that in our government. And if they don't, which they apparently don't because no one has done anything about it, then I want to know why. And I want to know why the LADA cannot come out and tell the truth on this BS, but he's got time to be posting tributes to Harry Belafonte. Got a lot of time on your hands, huh, George Gascon? And I guess I want to know, how much longer are we going to have to be doing this? I don't mean making YouTube videos. I mean, how much longer is it going to be until Brian Warner and other falsely accused men whose lives have been ruined, whose careers have been canceled just based on accusations, and accusations that don't hold up once you inspect them. Army Hammer. And I'm hearing the same thing about the Nick Carter thing too. But I haven't looked into that, but I'm hearing the same thing about it. I just want to know, how much longer are we gonna have to see these injustices unfolding before our very eyes and being perpetuated by our government, because our government is now complicit. Look, no offense to the LA police officers, the LA Sheriff's Department, I guess, because I talked to one of the detectives, and you seemed like a lovely guy. And I'm sure that I'm sure that you have all worked very hard, and I'm sure that you typed up a really nice report and you sent it to Gascon. But like, you guys know the truth. Like, you investigated this, and you know that this is a gigantic hoax and a gigantic injustice, and you know that there's got to be a crime in here somewhere, I guess is what I'm saying. So I'm going to step it up, and I'm gonna raise the tone a little, and I'm gonna get a little bit more pointed, and I am going to start regularly putting out videos trying to raise awareness about this topic, and also frankly, trying to pressure or cajole or beg, or whatever term you want to use, our government to take a look at this, and for someone in the FBI to address this problem, to investigate it, and to bring some justice to Evan Rachel Wood and Ilma Gore. And Michelle Langer, you are the FBI agent. You are a real agent, and you are the FBI agent that these ladies, these liars, impersonated. So, I'm wondering, even if no one else wants to do anything about this, and George Gascon is just going to sit on his ass until the election, and I guess that the Los Angeles sheriff's detectives, no one's going to actually come out and tell the truth or leak information, or maybe just investigate Evan Rachel Wood. You know what? Here's something for the LA Sheriff's Department. Okay, here's a thought for you. I really appreciate you guys. I know that Evan Rachel Wood and these other conspirators, they put you through the ringer, running around, chasing your tail, chasing all these BS stories. I know that can't sit well with you. And so here's a thought. George Gascon, he keeps saying that you guys have not presented a complete file to him, and that he's just waiting on a complete file from the sheriff's department, from the detectives investigating this. Well, you know what? Come to think of it, maybe that file is incomplete, because maybe there does need to be an extension of this investigation. Maybe now this investigation needs to transform into an investigation of Marilyn Manson, Brian Warner, to an investigation of Evan Rachel Wood, Ilma Gore, Esme Bianco, and whoever else contributed to this hoax. Because we've got at least a couple of Jussie Smolletts here. I would say more than that. And I think there's a little more to be investigated. So I'm going to really try to start kicking up the outrage on this, because someone in our government needs to actually take a look at this, and they need, if there's injustice that's being done, if there was an impersonation of an FBI agent, as there was, if there has been a major waste of taxpayer resources in expenditures toward this bullshit, then you know what? I think it all needs some official attention. And I am going to start complaining loudly and persistently until it happens. Everybody, I appreciate your support as always. I depend on your tips and donations. Links are below. These types of videos don't get monetized very much. And, it's controversial stuff I'm putting out here. So I appreciate your support. PayPal is preferred over YouTube, simply because YouTube takes a lot more of your money. And Michelle Langer, if no one else wants to get after this, you can do it. You're an FBI agent. You're the one that they were impersonating. Maybe it's on you to look into it. Bye, everybody.